Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my most humble and loving salutations at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan, Sri Satya Sai Baba. It is my pleasure again to bring another continued series of his story through the eyes of his boys. And we have Brother Raghunath Sarma again with us. So let us start this evening without wasting any further time with our prayer. And I request, please join me. O Lord, take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to Thee. O Lord, take my hands and let them work incessantly for Thee. O Lord, take my soul and let it be merged in one with Thee. O Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with Thee. O Lord, take my everything and let me be an instrument to work for Thee. Om Shri Sai Ram, and welcome to this episode of his story through the eyes of his boys. Today, I would like to start off by paying respects. Today, we had heard a very, in a way, sad news that our lovingly, we call her our Hindu auntie, our kitchen auntie. She has been an epitome of love and service, acting as the in charge of kitchen in primary school, or should I say Sri Satya Sai Higher Secondary School Girls Wing. And over 40 years she has served Bhagwan's institutions. This morning, this great soul, the noble persona, merged with Bhagwan. She was in Jaipur with her daughter and her grandchildren. And after a short ailment, she left us today, this morning. And we humbly pray to Bhagwan for her eternal peace and rest. We are sure this loving being, our loving kitchen auntie, has surely merged and received the highest place there ever could be, the lotus feet of our beloved Master. We humbly offer our reverential regards and loves to Auntie Sai Ram. Let me bring Brother Raghunath Sarma. Sai Ram Raghunath Sarma, Sai Ram Bhaiya.
Sai Ram Abhimanyu, Sai Ram, Sai Ram.
I thank you for accepting to join me again, because our story was still halfway through, and not halfway through, we're not completed, not even started properly. So we wanted to continue this journey today with you. So just for people who have joined us today, a brief intro of Brother Raghu. Raghunath Sarma did his graduation from Parthi and Brindawan, a unique opportunity for this batch who joined in 1987, and then went on to do his master's, and then he did his PhD. And today, Brother Raghunath Sarma is continue to work as associate professor and associate head for the Department of Mathematics and Computer Sciences at Prashantanilayam campus. So, Brother Raghunath, so nice to have you back. Sai Ram.
Thank you. It's my privilege. Actually, you made very nice remarks in the beginning about our kitchen auntie. Though I have not studied at primary school, I heard from so many students, those who have passed through the portals of our primary school. What a nice person she was. And these are the people, there are many of them who have silently worked and contributed a lot to this system. And today we really stand because of the great services rendered by those people. I'm sure Swami has blessed them and continue to keep them at his lotus feet. Sairam.
Certainly, Sairam. Of course, they all have left so many impressions, such an impression in so many generations now, that
Correct.
their absence will certainly be missed always.
Yes, yes.
But I guess that's life. So, Brother Raghu, continuing with the story of Bhagwan, we had heard your story till you reached the college, joined the Parthi, and how Bhagwan would suddenly appear there, and you had some interactions. Today, I would like to start off this discussion by your co-curricular activities. I know we have a lot to cover, but let's jump into it. So, I believe you were involved with so many things in the school and hostel life, college and hostel life. So, let us take one by one items, and I would like you to share your thoughts. Uh, let's start with drama.
Yes. True. So, see, drama is, these dramas occupy a very special place in our curriculum uh, of Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning. If you really carefully see, at hindsight, we realize that it was one of the main component through which we learned a lot of lessons from Swami and also about our culture and tradition. Swami always tried to fill our hearts and especially the young minds with very useful thoughts and also noble thoughts. Okay, at this for that purpose, Swami took enormous interest in dramas, and if you remember, Swami would come countless number of times for rehearsals, and he will correct every scene, he will correct every dialogue, in fact, and point out, each character. He will personally go to that person, to that character, and he will say, "You should dress like this, or you should dress like that." And yes, memories are filled with such instances of Swami. It's uh, one of the most important aspect of a student in Parthi. Apart from, of course, there are sports meet, right? And this then are even if it comes to self-reliance departments that run in the hostel, Swami used to take a lot of interest in this and give his personal attention.
Because we have seen that from 1962, when Bhagwan started Veda Pathshala,
Correct.
uh, from then onwards, Bhagwan has integrated this play,
Correct.
a drama, as a teaching methodology, and he becomes really alive for that. He is not using drama as an external activity, which
True.
has to be done as an add-on to the system, whereas he uses drama also as part of the learning, cycle. So
Correct.
I believe drama was one of the excuses for you to get a little limelight with Bhagwan.
Yes, yes. Not just me, scores of students got proximity to Swami because of drama. See, this drama and another thing is Vedam. These two are, primarily they brought me very close to Swami. I really cherish those memories. So it started all in Brindawan actually. After my first semester in 1987, somewhere around October or so, uh, I went and joined the second semester in Brindavan. And those days was the best days, Brindavan days. So it's filled with Swami's close interactions with students. Then his divine creations, right? He actually attracts you and then arrests your mind through his leelas. And once the mind is arrested, his teachings or his message goes straight to your heart. I think that is the purpose of Leela. See, Bhagavatam or any of these Leelas that describe about glory of God. I think Leelas are mainly like Swami used to give the example of Mother Yashoda who keeps carrot in butter in one hand, and stick with other hand which is hidden behind her, and to draw Krishna closer to her. Swami used to often give this example. Similarly, Leelas are the means by which Swami drew his devotees and especially students and filled their innocent hearts with his love. And that's why that after that seed is sown, Abhi, and it grows like a gigantic tree, and it gives, I think, if not shelter to many, to his own family or his own people closer to him. Right? There are many such examples today.
See, today, audience viewers may not get an opportunity to see our brother Raghunath laughing, but I am tempted to share that thought that Raghu played the drama in which he laughed, and his laughter became contagious, and even Bhagwan laughed. So, Raghu, I would like you to tell yourself what was the play and what was the laughter, what inspired you for that.
Yes, Abhi, that was, I should say, a kind of a very significant event in my life, in a way, which brought me very close to Swami. This was about the drama that my seniors, I was in my second year actually, and my seniors who were in third year, they were putting up this drama on Valmiki. Actually, the title of the drama was Ratnakara, the earlier life of Valmiki, who wrote
Valmiki.
Ramayana. Yeah, Valmiki is the one who wrote
So I'm
Ramayana,
sure
as you know.
everybody should know the story of
Correct.
Ramayan, Valmiki, that he was a
Yeah.
bandit before,
Yes, yes.
and his name was Ratnakar, who became
Ratnakara.
Valmiki after, he transformed. So please continue.
Yes, so that was the theme of the drama, and it actually depicts this bandit, and finally he gets transformed by the message given to him by the sages, the Saptarishis, and finally he becomes Valmiki. That's how the drama ends. So I remember Professor Kailan Swami, our English professor, he was actually directing the drama, and so he was calling the students, and one of them is acting as bandit, and some are acting as the sages. Now it's going on, so he's supposed to put up a villain face. I was also part of the group. I was supposed to be, I think, backstage boy, trying to arrange chairs or that kind of a thing. I wanted to be part of that. Whichever role, doesn't matter, you get close to Swami, right? That's the main motivation, as you said
Choose
in the
was to
beginning.
be with Swami. That's right. Yeah.
Correct. So I was in in the auditorium. They were all gathering and trying to practice, and professor was giving some suggestions. I went into the green room, which is adjacent room where people get decked up, all that. With another student, I was saying, see, this guy Ratnakara is not really acting like a villain. I can really act like a villain given a chance, I said. And I gave a villainous, thunderous laughter. Okay, I cannot laugh like that now, impossible. And it just resounded in the auditorium.
I know your
It
laughter goes in three scales actually.
Yes,
And it keeps
exactly.
going higher.
It goes up like that, and then immediately Professor Kailan Swami heard that, and so who actually laughed just now? Call that boy. Uh, and I came, said, I was little tensed. I said, sir, sorry, I only laughed. I couldn't. He said, no, 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 that is the kind of laughter required for, the villain role of Ratnakara, I mean, in the beginning. So why not we do it with something? You take up that and utter this dialogue and tell the dialogue and give that laughter. And I did that, and immediately said, I think you should be the that role,
Ratnakar.
right? And the other boy was removed. Definitely my elder brother would have felt sad about that, but I didn't realize that it was all quick turn. Everybody said, let the best person get into the role. That's how I got into Ratnakar. And after that, it was a very nice
Because I
hit
remember
actually.
Swami calling you again and again for that laughter. So that was the
Yes.
best part. Swami said, hey, laugh, laugh.
And my laughter was hired for other dramas in the later, whether whichever villain role was there, they used to record that laughter and play it. That is true. And we all went to Prashanti Nilayam, and the drama was selected to be enacted in Prashanti Nilayam. So I put up the drama. It was a very big memory, actually. I remember after the drama was over, my teachers told me, you go and request Swami to come onto the stage so that you can take photograph. So I went down and knelt down before Swami and requested Swami, please come to the stage. We want to take photos with you. Then Swami said, where is your mustache? Mustache is not there. Yeah, I had a big mustache actually as part of the drama. And Swami took those photos and came up. I said, Swami, I'll put the mustache if you come up. Swami also laughed, and yeah, later.
So
Yes.
sweet. Good memories of that, like. So you also had involved with the dances in sports day.
Yes, correct. This of course, in several dramas, we had the opportunity. I remember one incident where we acted like, that a story where the group of Danavas and Manavas and Devas, they go and approach Lord Brahma, and they pray to him to bless them. Uh, so Brahma utters the word da. So three times he says da. So that is a beautiful story told by Swami. So our seniors or research scholars or faculty used to take Swami's messages from discourses or some interactions, and then finally put them through dramas or through dances, through events in the sports meet. That's how they used to give them as capsules to finally now they have become great lessons to the world. So I was part of one of these Devas group, I remember. And our teacher that time, Dr. Sundarayar, he was teaching us, right? So Swami came for the rehearsal to the grounds, and he was doing that, that thirty kirta, like he was keeping the talam, and 5-6 of us, we danced. And Swami was there, so happy. He said, when did these guys learn dance so well? Are you trained in dances? We said, no, Swami, we just picked it up in the past 1 week time. We heard that you are going to come for the rehearsal. Anytime we should be ready. So each student will come up with his own imagination with some dances, just like we literally mug the answers for examinations. We used to mug the steps of dance also, right? And by heart them, and just repeat. But it used to, so much attention we got from Swami, and yeah,
Beautiful.
those are beautiful memories.
So Raghu Bhaiya, let's come to the college. So when you joined Parthi College, they give us some impression about what kind of faculty, teachers, interaction between teacher and students used to be. So give us some glimpse on that.
Yeah, there is a certain difference between Prashanti Nilayam and then Brindawan, right? Because this is the Prashanti Nilayam University, so beautiful. This is where I work today. Little did I realize the day I joined that I'll be joining as a faculty here by His grace. And yes, so I joined in 1995 officially. In 1992, I finished my MSc, and till 1995, I was under the impression that I have joined. Right, that's the kind of feeling I had. Though, I mean, I used to come and work in the university, and this is Professor David Grace, one of the stalwarts in computer science. And the boys standing behind were the first batch MTech students in 1993. This batch got started. They were just 1 year junior to me, and that's when actually MTech program got started in the university. And
Okay, so this is the first batch of MTech boys.
yes.
Okay.
So all seniors, I mean, teachers sitting next to Professor Grease, like Professor H. Sridharan, Professor G.V. Prabhakar Rao, or Professor C.J.M. Rao, Professor Venkateshwar, they are not here actually in this picture, but Professor K.B. Naidu. In fact, mathematics department in our university started by all IITians. Okay, so that way it was like studying with IIT professors. All
Beautiful.
Yeah, really. I mean, so these are the elderly professors, and their devotion to Swami and their commitment to the place is something very, very what to say, heartening to see, and we have a lot of reverence for them. And when I came to Brindavan in 1980, as second semester, I was saying, right, that time we are mainly exposed to all Swami students who have just, a few years back, they have passed out of the university and now they have done the role of teachers. And they were serving us with so much compassion and care. And they were very strict too, because that's how we got groomed. Abhi, I should say, my today I am what I am today is mainly because the kind of training that I got in Brindavan, and the kind of things I have learned from a young faculty at the time, right? That whether it was Professor Rajkumar Jain or Professor Ruchit Desai or Professor Subramaniam sir, even our sweet librarian Sri Nandagopal sir, all these people molded our lives, if you remember. And I had the greatest opportunity to study both in Prashanti Nilayam and also in Brindavan. My first day, I recall, in Brindavan, I entered the hostel and I kept my suitcase and my luggage outside. My father also had come with me. He was also a little worried because he has never traveled to the state Karnataka. So there was a language problem of Kannada, all that. But somehow we managed to reach the hostel. Swami was not there in Brindavan that time, and we went to meet the warden. Professor Narsimurthy was the warden at the time. We met him, and then we came out, and my suitcase was missing. Okay, so I looked around. I said, "My suitcase is missing." So there was this Ramaya Lakshmaya. You remember? I wish I could. I had some photos of them, but they were the great workers in that place. They used to take care of hostel cleanliness and whatnot. So one of them were there, and he immediately said, "See, things do not get lost here." Okay, uh, so don't ever nourish that idea. You even get a thought about it. Some of the students have taken it up to your room. So one senior student comes and said, "Brother, don't worry, I have taken your luggage. I have kept it in your cupboard. This cupboard is assigned to you." And he took me so lovingly, took to my cupboard, and also took me to the dining hall and immediately gave me some tea and then snacks. I mean, the love with which they received me, I will never forget that day. That's why even after more than 30 years, I remember it so vividly.
So beautiful, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
What is the major difference you find a life of a college in Parthi and life of college in Vrindavan?
Yeah. See, Brindavan, I think during those times, first of all is the weather, right? Getting up early is very, very difficult. And we did manage. There used to be some slight relaxation, 15 or 20 minutes probably, for getting up for Suprabhatam. And, initially, though I had some difficulty
I want to
with
tell people that Vrindavan is cooler. It's much
cooler,
cooler than
much
Parthi.
cooler
Yes.
than Puttaparthi, with loving guidance by warden and other room teachers. You understand what I mean? I started attending Suprabhatam regularly. Uh, so, and teachers were all staying with us, right? Of course, the same thing in Brindavan also, but we didn't have very senior faculty like really interacting with us because the undergrad campus and another thing. But otherwise, the attention that was given to us, it was phenomenal. Both Brindavan and Prashanti Nilayam, right? Schedule wise, it may be slightly this way, that way, because of the weather conditions and the style with which we used to run classes. But otherwise, all teachers or seniors, all their heart is in Swami, and their main motivation is how to bring a child who has joined the system, up in his in his career or in his endeavor as a student. But one strong thing I noticed in Vrindavan is all teachers who have been students. So there, I see this marked difference. Their sole intention, their intense efforts to bring a student closer to Swami. I think that's what I have seen, Abhi. Wherever I still remember, I was not getting
See,
a
it's a very
place.
important point you made, and I would like you
Yeah,
to explain that point because it is relevant not only for student life, it is relevant even for devotees' life.
true,
Because the
true.
main purpose of a devotee is that he becomes a conduit for others to become
Exactly,
devotees of God. So
exactly,
please
exactly.
share more thoughts on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they make every effort to make sure that all students get close to Swami and really experience the divinity, because they know for sure that it is because of that association with Lord that we really that emancipation, or that growth, true growth in us takes place. Savidyaya vimuktaye, right? Even that's the true purpose of education in Puttaparthi or Brindavan, the underlying philosophy of education. So very simple matters like,
I would
suppose,
say just please explain in one line the translation also.
yeah,
Savidyaya vimukte.
sa vidya ya vimuktaye, education that really redeems you from this life is the true education. There are so many forms of education,
That
right? Right.
that is education which relieves you or liberates you.
Liberates you from, okay.
Liberates you. Beautiful.
And very small incidents like, when Swami comes and sits in Trayi Brindavan, right? uh, Sometimes you may not even get place to enter the hall because we filled that day, because of a lot of devotees also have come, and unlucky for you that you are in the last line, correct? How much ever you try. By the way, Abhi, I was known for running, and during my UG days, the way I really rushed and then ran for Swami is, even now I remember those days. And I will narrate one or two incidents on just
Sure.
rushing to Lord, okay,
Hmm.
later. So the teacher sitting inside would get up and say, and calls me, right, brother, you come inside and sit. I can stand outside, right? So I still remember them with so much, love and gratitude to those people. Or if there is a chance to take, let us say, a tray of sweets or laddus to be distributed, okay, the teacher is holding the tray, immediately looks around and calls one of the students and says, so many times, you take this, go and take the blessing from Swami, because Swami has already come and then blessed, okay. But you just use that opportunity to go closer to Swami and again
Correct.
have his closer darshan, right? So these may be very small incidents, actually, if from viewers' point of view, some of the viewers' point of view, right? But otherwise, for a person who goes through this experience, for him it is a life experience, right? That incident, right? One single incident, one look from Swami will change his life, right? So this is what is. Brindavan was full of such incident. Let me begin. The first day I recall in Brindavan, after that, that student,
Bag.
my yes, just
Hmm.
lovingly took my bag to the room. All that. Uh, s- uh, we were all sitting in dining hall and we were having our lunch. Then one of the faculty comes to the dining hall and then makes an announcement, boys, Swami has come. Okay, imagine, I have not experienced this till then. I'm just sitting and eating food along with another 300 students also. He enters and then says, boys, Swami has come. The moment he made that announcement, Abhi, all students left their plates, they were eating, right? In a second they were up, and some people are wiping their hands to their shirts like this. Some have taken out, intelligent guys have took out the kerchiefs and then wiped. Some ran to the sinks and then washed their hands and then ran. Each person is trying to use his brains how fast he can reach mandir. But I was stunned. I didn't realize what is going on, what is this rush. And suddenly I joined the mad rush. Okay, you won't believe me, in a second we were all in Trayi Brindavan. Okay, that gates, of course you can't enter the gate, and Swami is still, you know gently coming in his car. All devotees are gathered and is blessing and coming. Swami gates were opened. Swami entered Trayi Brindavan in his car and came out. Then We all ran through the gate. Nobody was there to hold us. All like 200, 300 children just ran. And outside Trai Brindavan steps, okay, we just surrounded Swami there. And Swami was speaking to all the students who have come from 12th class. If you remember, Swami held us there for a semester or so. Those students who have cried that Swami, we won't go to, we will not leave Parthi immediately. Those students were all there. Swami was inquiring them at the there, and it's such a memorable event it was. That's how Swami came to Brindavan, and after that it was full of sweet memories and creations of Swami, and upadeshas and discourses by Swami. Uh, it was really, I mean, something that I cherish every day in my life.
Beautiful. Okay, before I jump into that, because once I open that tray session for you, I know there will be a flood of memories. I
Correct.
would like you to yes, at least finish off your journey of your life in that manner. So let us come to about your PhD. How did you choose that? How did that happen? What is the story of your joining the PhD course program?
Okay. Yeah, Avi, I was kind of possessed with this idea of doing PhD. Somehow I don't know how it got into my head, but right from my uh, undergrad days, my aim was to do a PhD and become the so-called professor or whatever, right? Each child carries a dream with him, right? Some wants to become a doctor, some want to become engineer, so on and so forth. Anyway, for everybody, I think for every child, the starting point is to become a bus driver, right? As a young first, the most beautiful job you ever want to do is bus driver, right? And then you know your thoughts change, then you want to become something. They keep changing for as you keep growing, your mindset keeps changing. So I think that is one of the aspects of a student's life, right? Your goals, your desires are your goals, right? That's how you start your life. And after you come to Swami as a student, I think the biggest change that takes place in our life is, what are the true goals? Desires and goals must be separated, right? That separation is the biggest change in a student's life, I think. That's what has happened to me and has happened to a lot of people. So whenever Swami would ask me, imagine Swami started asking me about this soon after I went from Brindavan to Puttaparthi for my third year. And I would sit in darshan line. Swami would come and ask me in my MSc. Swami would ask me, what do you want to do after MSc? So I would say, Swami, PhD. And Swami will turn and then go. Okay. Then after a week or 10 days, again Swami would come. What do you want to do after PhD, after your MSc? Then I will kneel down and then say, Swami, PhD. And Swami will just nod his head slightly or whatever. I mean, I don't see that much approval in his blessing, right? But I have not noticed that. I was so engrossed in my own, mad, what to say, the passion of doing PhD, whatever. And so imagine this, I'm talking in 19, I finished my BSc in 1990, right? And from that time, Swami would have asked me dozens of times, what you want to do, what you want to do. I keep on, see, Swami will give you, I told you, right? He keeps on giving you, he keeps on giving you till you realize what you really need to ask him. And Swami also says, I keep giving you. You ask anything, I'll keep giving you till the time you realize what you really want to ask from me. I will wait that long. So probably this is one such journey, right? It went on like that. And soon after my 1992, when I finished my MSc, I had the chance to go to Kodaikanal. I came back from Kodaikanal. In fact, once in Kodaikanal, Swami asked me, what are you doing? I said, Swami, I finished my MSc. Swami immediately looked around. All students are sitting around Swami, those who have come for Kodaikanal, and there are some devotees. Swami turned to some devotees and said, "This boy already finished MSc. I thought we got only students who have not yet finished their education. Those who have finished their education, how can they come for Kodai?" Like that, Swami loudly announced. Then immediately I got scared. Swami is going to send me back from Kodai. Said, oh, so I was so, I mean, what to say, naive. And then one of the devotees said, "Swami, he can do PhD." One of the devotees said. Then Swami turned to him and then said, "Then he should come when he is doing PhD, not in between." Swami said. Uh, so I came back from Kodaikanal. Then, it's a long story. And after that, I continued to wait in Prashanti Nilayam. I waited almost till 1995, right? And finally, when Swami called me in the interview room,
So you had a
and
3 years of waiting period.
yes,
So
92 to
2 years,
95.
Swami continued asking you, what do you want to do after PMB, MCOM, MSc?
Yes,
And then
yes,
you didn't answer him rightly as he expected. So
no,
he made you, then you waited for 3 years.
three
So
years.
Raghu, this we had discussed in one more session before, but I would like to have your thoughts on this waiting period. What do you understand by waiting period?
Waiting period is, I think, those who are very lucky would get that, I guess. But though, but while you are going through that, right, you feel you are the most, unfortunate at times, because your mind is on job, your mind is on getting closer to Swami. Settle down. This word "settle down" is the most misunderstood and misunderstood word in a life of almost every human being, I guess, because you never settle down. Swami, Swami told us this life is like a journey on the boat, okay, in a boat on a river. The river water itself is, is moving and it is rocking the boat. Can you ever get peace, right, through this journey? No. Only your faith in God, if it is done, that He's going to take care, then you will be peaceful. The Swami said, "Shantamuleka Saukhyamuledu." Swami used to sing that so beautifully with the Tyagaraja Kriti. Shantamuleka Saukhyamuledu. Saukhya is happiness, or the joy, right?
Contentment.
Contentment. Shantamu is peace, right? Unless you achieve peace in your heart, you cannot have joy. First you achieve that, then you can have joy, right? I think Swami teaches this to everybody who comes close to him, right?
So
So
peace is a source, is a basis for contentment.
contentment, yes, yeah. But without peace, you try to achieve happiness, it's not going to happen, right? It's definitely not
But
going to
how do
happen.
you relate it to waiting period?
Oh yeah. So waiting period is the time when there is a saying in I don't know. It is a great saying. Very often, my friends and colleagues used to quote, right? Before you are self-realized, mountains are mountains, rivers are rivers. After realization, mountains are mountains, rivers are rivers. Only during this process, everything goes topsy turvy, right? What is mountain? What is a river? You may not know. It's like that. So during waiting period time, your mind is pulling you in one direction, but Swami will be pulling you in other direction. In the sense, it's not that Swami is really trying to force anything on you, but it is your own a part of your own personality that it wants to align itself with God, right? But part of you wants to align with the world. This I think struggle happens, and finally you get refined day by day because of closeness with Swami, staying with him. So I had these 3 long years away, and even during that time, Swami was asking me, "What would you do?" So I say, I used to feel I have answered it so many times to him. Why is he actually going on asking me the same question, right? Same question again, and a lot of introspection started going on in my head, and all the gas goes off finally, right? Slowly the gas goes off. Whether you call it as mamakara or abhimana or ego or this thing, slowly, because of his love, his blessing, it goes. And Swami also used to say in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna initially started off, right? Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Swami said. And it was fully, he was pouring out, Swami said. Okay, question after question, and a comment after comment. Finally, he became quiet. That's when Krishna started his discourse. Swami used to tell us very beautifully. Why?
Oh,
Because, oh yeah,
oh,
Swami very
beautiful.
beautiful in
So Vishad leads to peace. Peace has to
correct.
come. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Vishada for God becomes yoga. That's why it is Vishada yoga, right? When you pine for God, when you pine for Arjuna did not actually, cry for himself. He cried, what would happen to these
Others.
youngsters and my elders in the other army that I'm seeing? They're all my relatives, right? Because of immense moha or attachment, right? His mind was clouded. And when he cried for others, it became yoga. And Swami said, that's the best quality that Arjuna had. That's why Krishna blessed him with Bhagavad Gita. Okay. And so time came when Swami finally called me into the interview room. He was asking each person. Three of us were called in the interview. I still remember. One was Mr. Solomon, my junior, and one Mr. Krishna. Even today, he's working here in the administrative block as a finance manager. Then the other
So
one
you
is,
are
of
also a
course,
waiting boy.
yeah, we are all waiting. Of course, we are seniors, so Krishna and myself waited for 3 years. And yeah, other gentleman probably would have waited for a year or so. He was junior to us by 2 years, I guess. So finally, Swami called us into the interview room and then said, what do you want to do? He asked first Mr. Solomon, then he asked Krishna, then he came to me and he asked, what you want to do? I mean, this question he has asked me several times. Finally, when he asked me this question, I genuinely folded my hands and I said, Swami, whatever you want me to do, I will do that. I mean, very genuinely, I reached that. It takes time, right?
It took you 5 years.
Yes. And when I said that, Swami's face became so bright, and he was, that smile on his face and that compassion. He said, hey, atla em ledu, నీకు PhD నే ఇస్తాను. It's not
Uh,
like it's not like that. I will give you PhD only. You don't have to sacrifice that for me. You see, there's so much meaning that I can't convey that to you right now. Because Swami, at one
so
point of time, he was talking to us about the story of Prahlada. Okay, Prahlada is doing his penance. And, as a young lad of 5 years old, he went to forest. Okay, he was blessed by Narada with Narayana mantra, and he's chanting Om Namo Narayanaya, and Lord Vishnu comes down. Okay, the moment Vishnu appears in front of Prahlada, and what do you want? He asks. Same way, right? Swami told us. Same question Swami, Lord asks always. And Prahlada, after seeing Lord Vishnu, he said, I want you. I don't want anything. But Lord Vishnu said, you actually came to forest, okay, because you wanted a place on your father's lap. It's like asking for not only
that
father,
is
but also
Dhruva.
a
That
king.
is Dhruv.
Yeah, Dhruva. Sorry. Yeah, it was
Dhruv.
Dhruva. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. I stand corrected. So Swami said, you should first experience that, enjoy all that, rule over the kingdom, right? After that only you will come to me, right? He said, whatever you have aspired for, all that I will bless. Okay. But this transformation is important. This transformation, Abhi, how our goals change, I was telling you, right, as a student. I think that is the biggest miracle. I recall the story of, if you permit me, Satya
Sure.
Harishchandra, the way Swami narrated the story of Satya Harishchandra. Okay. Swami also chanted this poem while, telling us this story. The Satya Harishchandra, his name is actually Harishchandra. He became Satya Harishchandra, right?
Mm.
Because of his adherence to truth. Okay. He lost
Mm.
everything in life. He lost his kingdom, his children, right? And just to stick to the word of truth. And finally, he became Satya Harishchandra. So one day, Swami asked us in Trayi Brindavan, so tell me, what did Satya Harishchandra achieve in his life? Okay. So each one of us were saying something. One boy told Swami he got the title as Satya Harishchandra, right? So Swami said, what is big deal about it? Okay, you go through so much difficulties, you lost your family, and the same kingdom came back to you, and the wife and children whom he lost, they came back to him, and finally the title Satya, was put in front of his name, right? Satya Harishchandra. Is that all? We were all silent, that it's best to be silent at such times. And
Certainly.
Swami, yes, the true message comes out that time. And then Swami said, in Telugu, I would repeat and give its translation, because that sentence rings in my
Sure.
ear all the time. Swami said, ప్రజారాజ్యాన్ని పరిపాలించే హరిశ్చంద్రుడు ఆత్మ సామ్రాజ్యాన్ని పరిపాలించసాగాడు. Adi.
Beautiful.
Praja Samrajya
Beautiful.
means he was ruling over kingdom and people, right? That Harishchandra, right? That change came over, right? And finally, he started ruling over Atma Samrajya, right? Means he started seeing the divinity everywhere now in his day-to-day duties, or in his relationship with family, wherever he knows the final truth now. See, everything ends in, he went to that burial
As
ground.
as
That's where,
Jesus said,
yeah,
kingdom of heaven is here, and
yes,
Bhagwan says the kingdom of men, kingdom of world, to kingdom of soul, the spirit of
correct,
you know. Beautiful,
true,
Atma
true.
Samrajya.
Atma
Wow.
Samrajya. So these things would happen very regularly in Brindavan. I mean, one should be very, very grateful to Brindavan for this purpose, because you really get to, go through. Our stalwarts came and spoke to us. It was John Hislop or Sri Rasagotra, that then one of the ambassadors of our country,
Ambassadors.
or Sri Victor Kanu, right? Like this great devotees. I mean, Goldstein Garu, right? He
But you have
came and
given a very beautiful insight into how Bhagwan delays and why does he delay.
correct.
And when he delays it, the reason is very different.
True.
And then he will bestow everything what you have asked for. But
Correct.
the attitude with which we receive is different.
It's very different. True.
See, before
True.
we could get what we have asked for, and we'll enjoy only that product.
Yeah.
And
Let
now he has changed the attitude,
True.
so we enjoy.
Let me share I just remembered one quick small
Sure,
incident.
please.
I was waiting. It was my waiting time. The feeling that years are passing by, and nothing is happening. This thing will be worrying for some students. Some students are very mature, by the way. It's not that everybody is like me. They are very mature. They wait for Swami's word, right? From day one they say, whenever Swami, what do you want? So they'll say, Swami, whatever you say, we are ready to do. Such I had great good fortune to have such friends around me. I am blessed with such friends around me today. My colleagues, my administrators, my faculty colleagues, my friends, my family members, my friends, all are devoted to Swami, and everybody share this one feeling that we belong to Swami. I think that's the greatest blessing I have today. And my day, it doesn't matter what other difficulties I have in my life, right? So I keep experiencing this joy. By the way, let me quickly come to this experience of mine.
Hmm.
Not actually a kind of my experience, but on one point of time, it became very severe, that I'm waiting, and kind of a feeling that I'm not able to tolerate it. So I went and met our registrar Garu. That time he was Professor Lakshmi Narasimham, the registrar of the campus. I said, sir, I'm ready to do any job in the university. So please take my uh, request to Swami, something like that. I went. So, in according to the norms those days, you will not go and meet anybody,
You won't
right?
do anything.
No, you have to go through only Swami, Swami
Okay.
and Swami alone. Okay, nobody else exists. Okay, you can't have a side path to your emancipation or your moksha. That's not going to happen. It has to happen only through Swami. I went and I did that and came back, and my aunt, who was staying in Puttaparthi, right? She gets a dream. Okay, and next day she calls me and tells, "Hey, see, I got this dream about you. I just want to share with you. I don't know whether it makes any sense to you." I said, "What is that?" So Swami came in my dream. He was in darshan, and you were sitting at one corner. Okay, I was sitting in one corner, and Swami walks up to my aunt, and Swami tells my aunt, "వీడు దొంగతనం చేస్తున్నాడు. వీడు దొంగతనం చేస్తున్నాడు. This fellow is stealing. This fellow is stealing. Tell him not to steal." He says and goes. Okay. She tells me that, and immediately I understood. I said, "Swami, I will not steal." There is nothing like, "Oh, don't, he's a thief," something like that. I will not take a wrong route, come to your lotus feet, right? I should wait, and royally with your command, I should join your institutions, whichever institution it is, right? Okay, it doesn't matter. But the thought of, that I want this, my goal is to do PhD, that had to change, right? That ice has to melt.
I would
So
like to
then,
just clarify, highlight this little bit more because it's very
mhm,
important. The
okay,
way Bhagavan communicates, Raghu, you mentioned very beautifully.
uh-huh,
He has got a little symbolic way of speaking. So
correct,
if he addresses somebody as Dunnapota, it
yeah,
also has multiple meanings.
correct,
So when he
true,
says you are a dunga, you're a thief, it is that the quality of a thief is very beautiful to understand. That a thief is one who tries to get what he wants, even
correct,
without proper path.
correct,
So
yeah,
that is how you become thief. It is not that
im-
stealing only. It is the
true,
path which Donga takes, the thief takes, is
correct,
always
correct,
unrighteous or like a roundabout way.
yes,
So
yes,
the Bhagwan's connotations are very beautiful, and only when you understand it, then you learn very fast.
true,
So like
true,
you could get it because I think it was Bhagwan's grace on you that you had that clarity. So the moment you heard Donga, you could get the understanding that no, I
true,
will follow the straight path.
correct. Not
Amazing.
that I was very happy, right? And
Yeah.
but there is no way out for me, right? It's like that. See, students do experience this. You can't go back, nor you can go ahead. You are fixed in one place, right? Swami used to say uh, beautifully in a poem. I don't recall that poem very vividly, right? Venukeganiyadu chananiyadu munduku. He will not allow you to go back, nor you can take a step forward. Like that, Bhagavan will fix you at times to teach you the true
Beautiful.
purpose of life, right? And yes, so I did go through, I mean, that kind of intense moments. And Swami, the way he guides you through dreams, either, you know coming in your own dreams or through others, right? One or two nice dreams have taken place like this, which gave me, some kind of a clarity and some kind of a guidance. And I remember one of my classmates getting a dream, said, "Hey, today Swami came in my dream. We are all sitting in Brindawan, and Swami called you and said, you join my university." Right? Swami did tell, not university, I'm giving you job. What job, all that details were not there, but I was so overjoyed that day, because yeah, there is some, indication that Swami is going to bless me. At other point of time, I had this dream where, Swami is giving darshan to a set of devotees, and in a ground, and I was standing miles and miles away from him, and in between myself and the darshan grounds where Swami is giving darshan to devotees, there are mountains, right, rising to the skies. That kind of a dream I had, and I'm jumping over these mountains one after the other, rows of mountains I'm jumping over, right? I'm getting tired, but I was able to jump over mountains, and finally I reached close to Swami, and it was all fenced, and I collapsed there. I was tired, and there is one security guard standing near the door to that fence with huge mustache. He's standing there looking at me sternly. I was so scared of him. And Swami just came close to that place, to that gate, and told that security guard, "Open the gate, allow that boy inside." Okay, he opens the gate. I get inside, and I try to rush towards the Swami. And Swami lifts his hand and the stern face, wait, akade kurcho, sit there, don't come close to me. Right? This dream came to me, and it was, I know, it was so vivid. At the same time, it told me so many things. Right? Yes, my difficult times are getting over, but still I need to wait for some more time, right? Swami has allowed me to come to his proximity. Still, I need to wait, right? The penance has to still continue, right? That's the true penance. Remembering him and changing your opinion, right? Uh, uh, from student life as you progress.
Raghu, I'm remembering one more thing, and I would like you to share that just to remind you. Remember, in one of these sessions, Bhagwan asked a question: "Who is the greatest devotee?"
Yeah, yeah.
And
This,
then he
yeah,
talked
correct.
about Krishna and Arjuna dialogue.
Yeah, correct, correct, correct.
Can you share that? I think it will
Yeah,
be wonderful for viewers and devotees to,
true,
get an
true.
answer from Bhagwan. Hmm.
Yes, yeah. Uh, Yes, I remember this because I think it was shared to me also by one of the devotees while he was giving discourse in the presence of Swami or something like that. I don't recall though, but I do remember this incident where Arjuna asked Krishna, "Who is closest to you, Swami? Right? Who is dearest to you?" Right? Probably Arjuna was expecting that, of course, you, Arjuna, my dear, right? But
It didn't
it
happen.
seems, no, no, but it seems Krishna told Arjuna it was the demon Vritrasura, right? Most unheard of. I mean, nobody could even guess in their minds how can this demon Vritrasura be closest to him, right? Vritrasura is a demon who fought with Lord Indra, and finally he was vanquished because the help from Lord Narayana himself, right? So that story goes like that. But the thing is, there is a nice conversation, it seems, that goes between Vritrasura and Indra. And in the battlefield, one day when Indra was totally tired, Vritrasura tells him, "You, oh Indra, now you go home, relax, and tomorrow we'll continue the fight. Right? You relax, take some nourishments, and come back again energized, so that tomorrow we can continue the battle." And he tells him, what is the difference between you and me here in the battlefield? You are constantly thinking about your defeat, and you're also constantly thinking about your kingdom losing the power, all that. Whereas I am here, I am fighting this battle more like a duty, and my heart is filled with Lord Narayana's name. Okay. So, because in the battle, he was thinking of Lord all the time. Correct. We are all going through battle of life that way, right? Bhagavad Gita was also delivered on the battlefield. See, there's so much significance here. So that's why, all the time, without a second, he's incessantly thinking about me. So he's close. Whoever thinks about me, I'm closest to him. See, that's what Lord wanted to say. Yeah, what is that thing Swami very often used to quote to us, Abhi? You remember? Yatra gayanti tatra tisthami narada. Manmana mat bhakto yatra gayanti tatra tisthami. And Swami told us, tisthami word he used. He did not say, I will say it, but he said, I will install myself. Right? There's a difference between the word
Sitting and
tishtha.
installing.
Yeah, yeah, installing. That's why he used that word tishtami. And Swami very often used to say, Narada came and said, Swami, give me your permanent address. Very humorously, Swami will describe this, right? Narayana, you are everywhere, but give me some permanent address where I can reach you, right? So Lord Narayana said, Narada, write down my permanent address, he said, and Swami chants this poem so lovingly. Manmana
Beautiful.
madbhakta yatra gayanti tatra tisthami Narada. I think, yeah. So it was like a
Padmanavat man bhakto tatra
yatra
gayanti.
gayanti tatra
Yatra
tisthami.
gayanti.
Yeah.
Trishthavya.
So that was so that's the kind of a transformation, right? One will undergo, and finally, when is I remember I asked Swami in the interview room. Swami, immediately after uh, uh, blessing me with a job, that is another story. Probably if time is there, I would share that
Sure.
also, right? uh, Let me go to that story how I joined the institute towards, right.
Yes, please.
I got the dream, and suddenly, somewhere in the month of 1995, January or so, January or February, like that. Swami used to call us very often, and either give us some work to distribute sweets, or ask us to do some work somewhere like that, or call us into the interview room just like that, and then tell about the stories of our sages and seers, and sometimes just like that chatting. So beautiful days, so many memories are there like that. Okay, like Swami said, today so many devotees came, and interview room was filled, all that. I didn't have the patience kind of to create each one thing. With one wave of my hand, I created this many today children. We are all children around Swami. Hey, we are celebrating. You see, and one shot I created and gave them, what, like that. I mean, this, you can't imagine this kind of conversation with Lord. Uh, yeah, so that waiting period time, when I was sitting at that bhajan door, Swami would come out of the interview room, and glance once this side, or sometimes he'll enter the bhajan hall. Those are the most beautiful moments of my life. After interview is over, he will enter the bhajan hall, he will stand there, and you get a chance to go and hold the fan. Next to Swami's throne there used to be a fan, right? Even now it's kept. We lift that fan and hold it to Swami. Right, that was the greatest chance you could get. Okay.
Okay, let me explain that. Actually, Raghu has raised, you have opened a huge memory box here. Bhagwan in Mandir where he sits, there's a door next to him on the left side, and at the behind the door there is a plug point, and a person sits with a fan there. So usually when Bhagwan would come from interview room, it's very hot, and
Correct.
he would be many times you would see him sweating, and that time he would like that air breeze to be on his body straight. So usually the fan is kept and angled towards him, but then when he comes, he expects the fan to be right on him. So that
Correct.
time
Correct.
the boys would take chances to lift the fan up, and so that they can, hold it for him. So that is what Raghu is mentioning. Raghu, you have really opened a huge memory. Please tell. Hmm.
So yeah, so those were the days, and Swami started interacting with us, and it so happened that Swami called us one day, and finally, and then said, "Okay, I am going to bless you all with a job, right? But this he told us not in the interview room. Inside the interview room, there is another room, okay, small room, which is a
Small.
special room. Yeah. So he took us there, and that is also uh, uh, called as a room of blessing or whatever, right? So we got a chance that day. Swami took us there, and then the moment Swami entered that room, we could see there is a marked change in Swami's effulgence. Okay, he stood right on the footstool that day. We were all kneeling down around him, and Swami said, "So the day has come. I'm going to bless you." And Swami chanted a beautiful poem. Okay, and the purport of the poem is this: people will speak many things to you, right? Do not just fall for falsehood that people speak, and lose your home that is blessed by me. Your home is with me. Okay, the greatest chance is like giving you a home with me. That home, you don't put it into ashes just by listening hearsay. Okay, keep your brains intact. All right, and for your so many births, praying that today you are receiving this blessing. Don't just throw it into the river just like that. Don't throw into the waters of the river. Hold it tight in your hand, right? And preserve it with lot of shraddha, right? Devotion. Like that, Swami, just for 5 minutes probably would have kept us around him. Remember, I was there, and my blessed brother Krishna was there, and then said, "Now you go." Right? We came out. We knew Swami is going. It's only a question of time. Swami is going to be blessed, and was waiting for our vice chancellor that time, Professor Hanumanta Pogaru, to really clear the way. Finally, the administrative procedure has to be followed, but it was not happening. Every day, Swami would come to portico, and then look at me and say, and his face will twitch a bit. How come this guy is still coming for morning darshan, right? Once you join the university, You will not come for morning darshan. You will come only for evening darshan. So it was going on. Later, right, I came to know from Registrar Lakshmi Narasimham Garu that Swami was, came down very, strongly to him and said, this boy should join, right, immediately. The thing is, so this treatment that Swami, right, we all know about it. Swami would stop talking to you for your personal growth sometimes. During that time, come what may, he will not speak to you, right? You need to pray, you need to assess yourself. And this kind of a treatment is not just confined to, not only for students, but it's also for,
Every
administrators, great devotees, even those devotees who used to come and then perform Dasara Yagna. I remember I had closely stayed with him in my waiting period time. I got to hear so many things about these pujaris and pandits who used to come for Dasara. I said, we are given treatment now. Swami is not looking at us. See, that feeling is not different for either a devotee or an administrator or a, kid or parents or, this pandits who used to come to perform Dasara. For all of them, because Swami is, బృందావనమది అందరిది, గోవిందుడు అందరి వాడేలే, Swami used to say. బృందావనమది అందరిది. Brindavan belongs to everybody. And Govinda also belongs to everybody, right? That is the maturity. It's not that the day we think that Govinda belongs to only some people, right, the problem will come. And finally, even I think Professor Hanumantappa Garu was going through that phase. He was saying, let Swami tell me, then I would give that boy the job. But Swami said, no, it's not going to happen, you go and make it happen. And finally it did happen. I joined, finally, as a faculty in the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science. Swami came to me and said, you first join as a faculty, you can do research later, okay?
Oh,
Because your father has retired. Swami told me personally. I didn't know that. He said, your father has retired, and do not take any single paisa from your father from today onwards. Only Swami will give you, and you will take only from Swami. Remember this, he said, and then blessed me with the job. Okay. Yeah. So,
beautiful.
yeah. So that's how I joined that job.
Raghu, you gave me reminded me one more thing. Bhagwan was avoidance part of it. One day he was talking, and he said about, you all people complain about, I'm avoiding you and not talking. Don't you realize this is only divine quality?
Correct.
Only I can do that. He said, if you try to avoid people, they will run away from you and say, get lost.
Correct.
It is only when I avoid, still you guys come back to me again and again. And that is possible only with divine attraction.
Divine. That is very, very, very true. That's how Swami taught lessons. What is the biggest punishment students used to face? Swami telling, I am not going to speak to you. That really used to. I remember one quick incident from Brindawan, and boys were, were not putting off lights by 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 p.m. in the hostel. And Swami's mandir is just adjacent to our hostel there in Brindavan, right? So Swami would see the lights, all that. And Swami just sent word one day that from today onwards, there won't be Trayi sessions. So Trayi session will happen after bhajans get over in the evening, right? Bhajans get over. We hardly focus on bhajans because our mind is, which line I am sitting, how I am going to rush into Trayi Brindavan after bhajans are over, right? We really, students, who are in a, mind is occupied, about how I'm going to enter the Trayi Brindavan, sit next to Swami, right? We really do not focus on bhajans. Sorry to say that, but this is the fact, right? You know what it means. Because the only thing matters in life is running into the Trayi Brindavan and sitting next to Swami's chair, okay? Then another 1 hour, 2 hours you spend there, the most, memorable and joyous moments with Lord, right? So it used to get little late. By the time sessions get over, sometimes it used to be 7:30 p.m. in the night, or sometimes even 8. There are times it went on till 8. Okay, most beautiful days and so many creations, and what lovely experiences there. So we'll come back. Exams, we need to also study for exams, and study hours used to be till 9:30, and so we used to stretch it sometimes. We'll not put off the lights, and faculty used to go around, but still, as they pass, go ahead of the room, we again put on the lights, and this used to happen. So Swami said, let them not come from for 3 sessions because the time is getting wasted. Instead, they should study. You understand what Swami said?
Oh my God.
Uh,
That
so
is a
after
punishment. That is a huge punishment.
punishment, huge punishment. One day over, 2 days over, then our warden sir also came and announced this. What Swami said? He said he doesn't want to affect your studies because you have come for studies, right? Swami used this word. You have come for studies, so you should do well in that. Your parents have sent you for studies. Said no. Swami said no, because it's difficult for you to put up the lights, right? You won't believe, the next day, the night, around 9:30, my senior brothers, third-year brothers, they come around room to room. I said, fellows, put off the lights first. Okay? All of you are going to go to bed immediately. Put off the lights. Students are going around and ensuring that lights are off. They said, you get up in the morning, 4:30, you get up in the morning and start studying. Okay, but not in the night. Okay. Swami said, morning, Brahma Muhurtam time, you can do. No problem. You can get up and study. In fact, your mind will be fresh, right? Get up by 4:30, 5 and study for next 3 hours, right? This is the transformation that comes. Swami did not do. Faculty was telling me later, right? One of the faculty was remarking, we tried so hard, but Swami, with just one single word, he changed the whole hostel. Like this, I have
That is
experienced one or two
that is
students.
Divya Akarshan. That is
That,
Divya Akarshan.
that
The
is
attraction
that's
of
the
the
power
God.
of Akash. Yes,
Raghu,
yes.
before I move to the next topic, I want to show you some pictures. I wanted to ask one more question to you regarding your waiting period. And
Hmm.
people have been wondering about it a lot of times, that how come Bhagwan would tolerate, physically speaking, that a child would sit, do nothing, because when we
Correct.
explain to that waiting period is basically waiting, you just wait
Sure.
for the
Correct.
Lord. And
Yes.
how he could see a boy in a way wasting his years,
Correct.
and some people have waited for 2 3 years, 5 years and all that.
Yes.
How
Yes.
do you look
Yes.
at it? How would you explain that waiting period and the treatment of Bhagwan?
Yeah, I think Swami, we believe that Swami knows the best, one thing. And when he really makes you wait, you have become ready to receive his blessings. After that, whether you stay with Swami or you go out, the progress, what I have observed in my experience is, in their life, either in the career path or whatever, it's been phenomenal, right? You might have waited 3 years here or 2 years here or 5 years, but once he steps out, right, and he climbs the ladder also, because Swami gave a beautiful example. When you please Swami, what is waiting period actually? If you really see, the one line definition of waiting period is, you are actually trying to please Swami, right? The day he is pleased with you, right, he is going to shower his grace on you. And Swami said, once you please Lord, right, everything is taken care. Okay. And that penance, that what to say, that focus, without doing anything, it's not that you're not doing anything, you are doing everything connected to Swami. In fact, one of the students, said, we'll go to South Indian canteen, 1 hour this time we can serve in the canteen, and used to allot some credits. It's 2 credits. Like we used to have our subjects in the institute, credits like that. This is a 1 credit course, is to do kumkum packing and vibhuti packing, right? And go to canteen, serve there. This is 2 credits course, brother. You finish this, right? That how to occupy ourselves with, because, and pradakshina around Ganesha. That is, I must mention it here. As soon as you enter Prashanti Nilayam, right in front of you, that beautiful Ganesha statue is there, right?
That is
Lord
a
is
beautiful
sitting, the
action.
most beautiful thing that, and everybody goes around that Ganesha. And Swami used to often say, these guys go around Ganesha there and put their prayer. What to do? I am helpless. I have to bless them. So if he is not talking to you, if he is not taking your letter, oh, you go around Ganesha there, 9 times every day or 108 times, and that's it. Swami takes your letter after that. Is it? Swami said, I am helpless. This Ganesha. All right. Uh, Though he was so humorous sometimes, this kind of incident, but they have a lot of, that means it's not that we are not doing everything. Our actions are filled with, uh, you know, s- things that please Swami. Swami used to give this beautiful analogy. Don't
Beautiful.
climb don't climb the shadow of the tree. You climb the tree. And when you climb the tree and cut the fruit there, your shadow also climb the tree, and that fruit also you'll get. You get worldly benefits, that's the shadow. You also get the spiritual benefit, that's the actual tree. Go after the actual tree. Okay, kalpa vruksha. Okay, don't go after the shadow. You how many ever times you go up and down the shadow, you're not going to get the real fruit, right?
Get the
I
fruit.
think waiting period definition is that you really like Roma Rishi, who used to wait for that fruit to come to his hands, used to do that penance, right? Which Pandavas, they did that. Anyway, I'm not going to the drama again, right?
But
But that,
you have compared it to Roma Rishi. I would say, really, really, as you rightly said, people who are really blessed and lucky, they got the waiting period. Okay, Raghu. Let me take you through some pictorial journey, and I think you that will trigger a lot of memories for you. And 1 minute. So, because that I wanted to share that pictures with you and take you through this journey, and you can tell us some stories about it as you remember. So, this is your first batch in Whitefield.
this is I don't think it's the first batch, but this is the place, this is the school where
Oh, he lost his current there. Okay, I think this is the one of the batches at the entrance of the college. This is where Vrindavan, this is a Vrindavan College building, and that's the entrance of Vrindavan College. As you can say, there is a Ganesha idol in the middle. So Ganesha is everywhere. Bhagavan has installed Ganesh everywhere. In all his institutions, Ganesha is one which receives, blesses all the children. And Bhagavan used to usually come and give sessions like that. He would invite and take pictures, class-wise pictures with everybody. And that is, I think, one of those pictures when this full batch got a picture clicked with Bhagwan on his entrance of Vrindavan campus. This is Raghu when he was blessed with his PhD, and that is the PhD. He got that certificate, so he became Dr. Raghunath Sharma. Uh, Swami used to visit. I think I leave this picture for him to narrate if there is anything. It's his lab, and when Bhagwan would come to, he'd walk into the labs to check out how things are, and that is where he's checking out some program. Maybe I can show this picture again when he comes. And this is the students in Vrindavan doing altar competition, and they make altars in Vrindavan hostel, and this they would bring it to Bhagwan for showing. So Raghu is back
correct.
here. So yes,
Yeah,
Raghu. Raghu, I
yeah,
was taking
sorry.
in the picture. I just wanted you to share. Do you have any thoughts on this picture of yours?
Yeah, this is when Swami came for a museum, a small exhibition that we organized for our Science Day, I guess. And I remember I had programmed, I had written my program in my MSc, which would graphically display Lord Ganesha. Right, Swami came and we asked him to press the button, and he came and pressed the button and inaugurated the exhibition. So Swami used to come like this to university, many times, and move around, encourage us to put exhibitions, all that. Yeah, it's a beautiful memory of mine.
It's like it gives you another insight into how accessible Bhagwan had made himself for
True,
everyone.
true. And computer, especially, Swami used to say, information transformation, IT. When we said, when
Hmm.
thank you, Abhi, for showing me that photo. I remember this message by Swami to one Professor Panchanathan. Right. Currently, he is the National Science Foundation. America is, Swami's devotee, and he is the director of that National Science Foundation. Professor Panchanathan. He is also, gives a lot of talks on Swami. All that. He was asking Swami what he should do, and Swami said, IT, information transformation. But in today's IT, there is only transformation of information. There is no true transformation. Work towards that which actually brings true transformation in lives. IT should be, So later he came up with what is called as the I Care project. If you want, actually, you can go onto the net and see Arizona State University. He was heading the, innovation center, and they came up with I Care project where blind people could see through, the eyeglasses, using a computer
Yes, yes,
IT, right? Uh,
yeah.
it's a phenomenal contribution. I mean,
Prabhu, Brother
yes.
Pramod Paladi is online. He's asking, which year did you receive your PhD?
It was in 2009. I completed
2009.
in 2009. So I finished in 1995. I joined as a faculty, actually as a lab administrator, and worked for some time. Then, Swami was asking me, actually, what is happening to your PhD once in a while. And finally, in 2004, right, Swami was in wheelchair that time in Brindawan. I think there was one incident because of which Swami confined to wheelchair for
Yeah.
some time.
Hmm.
This is my PhD. Yes, Swami said,
Yeah.
you actually start doing PhD now. In 2004, I re-registered and finished my PhD in 2009. Yes, this is
Excellent.
you can see. I mean, I went onto the stage and told Swami, this PhD is your grace. I remember telling Swami. Swami said, Bangaru. I said, yeah. So,
So sweet. Okay, let me take you now to Vrindavan. Now, here is
yes.
that the golden era. I would like
The-
you to give me a live commentary, people, so that who have not been to Vrindavan, they can
yeah,
also get an
yeah.
idea as to what it is now. So, from the old bungalow, when it was broken down, I think in mid 80s, 86 or something like that, and then this was constructed, and this is called a Trey Vrindavan. So,
Correct,
Raghu,
correct.
please.
Yeah, this is the most beautiful abode of Lord, and Swami becomes Krishna. When he's in Parthi, he's like Lord Rama, and when it comes to Vrindavan, he's like Lord Krishna. That's what many devotees used to say. So you see there, the main door, right? Swami is actually entering through the interview room there, right? That's where devotees enter through that door, and Swami, in that room, Swami would give interview. And this is the main door, this side. That's the main door. Yes. Okay. From where Swami would emerge for it will come out sometimes, and students would enter through that door, after bhajans are over in the evening, after around 6 or 6:30 p.m. We go through that door, and we sit around Swami, and we used to have 3 sessions. Correct. And these are the beautiful lawns. Sometimes Swami used to even walk around these lawns. And I remember once Swami came, walked across the lawn, and across the lawn there is this fence of bushes, right? What do you call it? The decorative bushes, right? They are
Hedges.
trimmed, and
Hedges.
hedges,
Yeah, hedges.
hedges. Swami came, and suddenly in front of Swami, this hedge is there. Okay, long span of hedge. Swami lifted his rope slightly and then jumped over it and stood in front of us. Right? He didn't want
Oh,
to. He didn't want to go again all the way around and come to us. He jumped and said, "See, I am so fit. Right? Even now, I can race with any of you. If you want, you can run with me. I'll beat any one of you." That's why. That one beautiful memory. There is another beautiful memory associated with this hedge. If you can go back to that lawn photo, right? Once Swami came and stood, yeah, right. He stood there, and we were all, seated on this path, right? If you have a photo of that, that will be really nice. How we used to
hmm.
sit around, this path, right? This is inside. That this is the place. Yes, we are all sitting like this, and behind us there is one gentleman who used to bring these movies, Lavakusha, this Ramayana, Mahabharata movies used to bring once in a year, and Swami would sit with us and then watch the movie during this sports meet time, if you recall,
Hmm.
during January 14th or January 15th, around that time. Swami would come and we all will go to auditorium. Swami would sit, and then one movie he will watch with us. That was the most beautiful memory, right? And this gentleman used to bring those movies, was standing behind us that day. And Swami came out, stood in front of us, and then he looked at him, and then he told us, you know what? This person he's been asking me, right, for a son, right? He's been asking me for a son. And he put his hand in that hedge like this. Remember that hedge? That
Hmm.
hedge is full of just those green leaves, nothing else, right? Nothing else grows in that. Probably those small white flowers once in a while. Otherwise, it is always trimmed. Swami pushed his hand deep into that hedge and then removed his hand out, and there was a fruit, this big fruit in his hand. Okay. I was sitting right in front of Swami that day. Right, big fruit. How it came from the hedge is very, very mysterious. And then Swami threw at him. Okay, he caught it and he was holding it to his chest. His eyes were, smeared, and he was moved and full of devotion. And Swami said, "This fruit you start eating now itself, not for your wife. You only eat it," he said. Then and there he started eating. Remember? And then Swami looked at us and then again put his hand down. Okay, what do you want? He said. So we are all holding our breath. Now something is going to come out, because almost on regular basis we are seeing Swami creating something or other. We were just holding our breath, right? And Swami is going to give something to us. And Swami took out, nothing was there. Swami just did like that. And we were all laughing. And Swami said, I will give you also son and daughter, Swami said. And Swami said, son means jnana, a daughter means peace. Okay. These two things should come to you, Swami said. I remember that. So after seeing that picture, I suddenly remembered this. Yeah.
Knowledge and peace. Knowledge
Yeah,
and peace.
peace.
Ah,
Jnana.
so son
Uh,
is knowledge and daughter is symbolic of peace.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
give you beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let me continue this journey of pictures. So what is this
Yeah.
place?
This is inside Trayi Brindavan. I mean, a place where I mean, you could enter, this round hall in the Trayi Brindavan, the center hall actually. Adjacent to this hall only, you have got an interview room, and then the place where all students sit, and
Central
then
hall. So you
yeah,
can enter
center
the
hall.
central hall like that. Okay,
Yes, yes,
excellent.
yes.
Okay.
And yeah, this is the place. Most what to say, most pleasant memories are here. I remember sitting
So
here
this
very
is the
close to
place for which you used to run.
run. Yes, we literally run. Yeah, this is how it is to be packed. If you are not
So
careful,
here, this
you
is the place where your entrance, the main entrance is from here.
correct, correct.
You enter and then come to Bhagwan here.
Yes,
And this is the
yes,
hall. This goes into the central hall, the
yes,
circular hall.
yes. True, true, true.
And that's how
Just
you all are.
just next to that jula, there is a door. This door
Yeah.
very rarely used to be open.
So this
Generally,
is
the
the.
door will not. Yeah, correct, correct. That's immediately
Mm.
next. So most strategic place would be either around Swami's feet, or go back to that picture, or sitting next to that door there, right? So while
Because
coming,
Swami will come out from here and go
while
here.
coming or while Swami going, you can still catch him and then give your letter or talk to Swami, right? All that. So yeah, so depending on your need that day, you would rush and try to catch some place
I wish
there.
people can comprehend how much of calculation even a student has to do to where
Correct.
to sit and strategically run for that place. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all in
Yes.
lawns.
Yes. True. True. True.
So, which means
Correct.
when Swami would come for darshan, for devotees, you all will be
Correct.
here in this place?
No, we will be outside along with devotees. We'll be sitting there. Our rows used to be little ahead of devotees' rows, but after our darshan is over, If Swami permits, then we would come here. Okay.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
have to wait for Bhagwan's instruction to come here.
Yes. And
Then from
only when.
here he will tell you to go inside.
Exactly. Yes. Depending on whether that day Trayi session is there or not. Or this is, I think, one of the days during summer course, right? We used to have summer course just before we start the academic year, if you remember. And we used
Hmm.
to have summer course in Brindawan, 10 days or 12 days. During those days, we used to go even in the morning. Sometimes we'll go and, we'll be permitted to sit there. See the
I
beautiful,
love
this most beautiful.
I love this
Yeah.
picture of Bhagwan,
Correct.
sitting
Yes.
on the
Yes.
steps of Tray.
Yes.
How does
Yes.
this happen? He called a class
Correct.
boy or something like that?
Uh, I I don't remember, but this is how sometimes Swami would come and then he will sit. Once he sits, we'll run to Swami with either cards or with letters or something to show. So always we used to keep something or other so that it becomes an excuse
The
to talk to
interaction,
Swami,
excuse of interaction
interaction
is
Swami.
always on.
Yeah. So
But
constantly
look
you
at
should
the
be
beauty of it.
innovative.
But
Yes.
look at how beautiful it is. It's so informal and
Correct.
so romantic, so beautiful it is.
True.
And
Yeah.
that's your faculty.
This is our MBA faculty here, right? This is how Swami would catch batch after batch, all faculty and students, and give photos here, right? Even students used to take photos like this. Beautiful. I mean, I think I have a photo like this with me. This is the most cherished place
Beautiful.
actually. Uh, yeah. Sometimes
And
Swami
this is
would be
our
lost like this for minutes, like sometimes maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Swami would just sit in that jula and he'll be lost in silence. We'll be silently sitting and then looking at him and just will be drinking that, you know, joy of Swami's darshan. Nobody speaks anything. It's just, that silence everywhere, and Swami will be lost like this. It's not that Swami is always speaking or anything. That is also a great memory, right? Just sit and look at Swami constantly. I think, Abhi, that's what happens. I mean, you were asking me a nice question in the beginning. That's when I started collecting my thoughts. Also, I was questioned myself what actually happened to me over time, right? Till then, I don't think I asked myself that question as a student. Then as a faculty, when you become a faculty, right, your goals have changed, but how much you are progressing towards your goals, and that's what happens. I mean, you look at Swami and be happy. Finally,
let
that's the
me
goal.
ask you again. Let me ask you this question. It's a good time to even think about it. Raghu, you know, today when I look back, I always have this, I shouldn't call it regret, but there is a kind of regret that I
Correct.
wish I had this much a brain at least when I was a student with him, because I feel probably I would have enjoyed that session more. I would have really, asked him right questions and been in the right attitude with him. Over the years, things have changed. How have your perception of Bhagwan changed over the years, and how do you perceive it today for him?
Uh, okay, let me try to answer this question. The thing is, in the beginning, you want to seek guidance from him, right? And as suppose I said, the Swami blessed us, for example, in the interview room, and then said, this is the greatest thing that has happened to you in life. Don't let it go, right? So you are always constantly thinking about, now how best I can utilize this time, right? How can I utilize my proximity with Swami, or proximity with his institution? I'm working here. How do I utilize my time? And you are see, and Swami does give the answer to you, either through discourse or personally, depending on, but that message will reach you sometime. So I remember in one of the interviews I was sitting, and Swami was often calling us into the interview room and saying, how is the teaching going on? Okay, is it fine for you? Right, first he wants to know how comfortable are you. He has blessed you with a job, but is there any difficulty? Swami will go to every minutest detail possible. And Swami, I said, Swami, you have given me a great opportunity here. That thought was going on in my head. So I said, Swami, what should I do now? Okay. Very short question, Swami, what should I do? Me hinting that how do I spend my life now? Now that you have given me job, I am here. Swami said, Emi chese panledu. You don't need to do anything big. Just see how the answer Swami gave me. And he said, students, serve students. Serving students is like serving me. Okay. Later, I mean, Swami also said they are prema putras, right? Prema putra means children of love, right?
That, mm,
I'm trusting them with you, right? When you go out, step out of the hostel or step out of the mandir, you just go and say that for Swami's prityartham. Swami used this word, Bhagavatam, Swami's prityartham, for his liking. Today I am delivering this duty, right? And you serve them, you teach them, and come back, right? And say when you are going to the bed, right? We used to chant, you remember? Karacharana krutam va, kayajam karmajam va, shravana nayananjam va, whatever it is, finally I'm offering to you. Just do that prayer, offering that whole day's business that you have done, serving the students, whatever, right? To me, good or bad, Swami said. Things might have gone wrong, right? Not that everything goes good. All right. Even then, just offer to me. Just as when river merges with water, ocean water, everything becomes ocean water. Each water will be different color depending on its actions. Some are good or some are bad, but finally, when it merges with ocean, everything is ocean. Similarly, when you offer to me, everything becomes penance. Everything becomes good. Okay, and you are not very strong like Hanuman. Swami, you said this. Okay, like Hanuman, you cannot, really please me. Like Bharata, you don't have the acumen, right? Intelligence, right? Or like
oh,
Radha, you don't have that constant love for me. Okay, but even this much, if you give me, right, that is enough. And Swami told, whatever they received, same thing I will also bless. I mean, bless you with the same thing, right? Okay. I mean, I still vividly remember that day. And after that, yes, interactions will definitely reduce a bit. After that, you become a faculty. You should not run anymore. You should stand behind students and make sure that things.
yeah.
And you should
You
tell
are,
them things not to
as
do which you have done.
yeah, as they say, some are saints, some sainthood is thrusted upon. So,
True, 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 true. Yeah, correct. And
okay,
finally, yeah.
let me quickly take you more pictures so that because this will be a good nostalgic journey for everybody. So here is the same darshan going through. Love this picture of
Yes.
Bhagwan waiting
Yes. Yeah.
at
This
the
is just
doors.
before he calls. He knows we are going to rush into the Trai.
Raghu,
So he would.
have you ever faced a situation when Bhagwan is standing at the door and he said,
Yes.
"Come"?
Yes. Yes. Of course. That's the most lovely moment, right?
But
Many
that is
times it has
dangerous.
happened.
That is
They just,
dangerous.
yes, Swami would announce greatly. I mean, very loudly. Swami would announce. All the VIPs will be standing around. Swami would announce. Now you will see horses running. Right, white horses will start running in a moment. Now, please witness. He will say. He will raise his hand like this and hold it. We are all on your marks. Get set, and Swami will move the finger like this. One movement, and we run. Right. Get set. Go. That's it. We run thunderous. You don't care whether you're going to fall or you're going to, where you're going to go. That's it. Your
But
whole
when
mind is
Bhagwan
on.
is standing there, it is so
Uh,
dangerous because you can touch him. You can, but
correct.
it's
Correct.
beautiful. The memories are wonderful memories of Bhagwan.
Yeah.
I think it's same here. You have Vrindavan Darshan.
Yes, Brindavan Darshan. Sometimes this is where we line up to go to institution, and Swami would have just finished his darshan in Sairam shed, and then he would come towards us and then say, he will bid bye to us to go to institution, right? Institute, and in the morning, right? And says, come back in the evening happily. Then we'll again have three sessions, something like that. He would say, and sometimes
So
even he will do a salute like that. Good morning, sir. He will say to students, right now you go. So we'll fold our hands to Swami and then say,
such a motherly touch,
yes, really,
Beautiful.
really correct. Yeah, these are the steps just outside the dining hall of Brindavan, right? You need to climb down from the floor. I mean, this is inside a dining hall. This is how Swami would sit,
This was a
right?
very
We are
beautiful picture.
beautiful,
People
most
don't
beautiful
have
picture,
any idea
right?
how people were sitting around Bhagwan.
Yes, yes, yes.
It is such a beautiful proximity. I wish I could be in that moment. It is such a beautiful picture. And this is Vrindavan when before Sai Ramesh Hall came up.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So you had darshans
Correct.
going on, and then came this Vrindavan when you had one tree in the
Yes.
middle and Krishna statue,
True. Correct.
and Swami called it Sai Ramesh Hall.
Yes.
And then is the present
Yes.
avatar
This
of the
is
hall is this.
yes. This is the
When
Sai
the
Ramesh Hall.
tree was
Yes. Correct.
gone, when the tree was gone, and this is the mandir now. This is the campus.
Correct. If you look at it closely, it resembles a dam. Actually, if you see, looks more like a dam. And I remember one of my colleagues, somebody was commenting that this actually a dam which channelizes the energies of students, fills their hearts with
Oh,
devotion,
beautiful.
duty, discipline, right? All the three Ds. Uh, yeah, I think this
This
is
is
the
the
hostel.
hostel
Yeah, this is the
inside.
hostel. Yeah, quadrangle. Yes, correct.
So people
Beautiful. We
can get
used
an
to,
idea of how our students live. All around rooms, and the middle there
yeah,
is a garden, and then in the
correct.
front there is a dining hall.
True, true, correct. This where we used to go and do our self-reliance. As part of self-reliance, we used to go and work there sometimes. Yeah, this is the yeah dining hall. Swami going between rows. Right, beautiful. This is inside that around three. Okay.
Three, around three.
Yes, yes.
This
During
is
summer
some guest. I think Swami had called some guests to eat.
summer
I
course.
can,
This during
yeah,
summer
I can
course time.
see Mr. Rastogi here,
Yeah, correct.
brigadier, brigadier here. I don't know
Yes,
when he.
yes, yes. All of them. I remember I was there. Yeah, I remember I was there during this time, and they all given talks to us. Real stalwarts. I mean, of experienced people in life. They have come and spoken to us. These are yeah. This Kodai days,
So
Kodaikanal
you
Swami.
went for today. So can you share any good memories of that
Yeah,
trip?
yeah, yeah. 1992. I think I remember Swami. On one such trip, Swami came and sat in the bus, right? And I always used to again try to catch the seat somewhere closer to Swami. And I remember on one such occasion, people were seeing Swami's car going in front of the bus, and they were going down to the car. And Swami was sitting with us. He looked at us and then said, Ayo, all my namaskars are going off. all pranams, respects that people are paying, they are going in vain. I am sitting in the bus, whereas they are doing to the car like that. Alas, Swami exclaimed. Then Swami gave a one beautiful analogy. Swami said, see, car has done its friendship with Swami, right? Sahavasam, Swami said. The relationship that you develop with good people, if you developed good relationship with Swami, so it is getting namaskars. Whereas I have developed relationship with you all. All right, i have come into I have come into your group, and I am losing my pranams. So that is the difference between sahavasa, right? Sahavasa dosham, Swami said. If you do friendship with good people, right, you will ascend in life. If bad company will pull you down, right? Same dust when it combines with air, right? It will swirl and then takes it up towards the heaven. But if it combines with water, it goes into a pit, right? So Satsangatve Nisangatvam, Nisangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Mukti. Swami used to quote this poem also of Shankaracharya and say, friendship or association with good people is very, very important. Yeah.
Raghu, isn't it beautiful that how Bhagwan chooses every opportunity to teach us something phenomenal, every
True.
time.
True.
Raghu, let me ask you another question in closing. You're now you are a teacher yourself. How do you see and how do you explain your relationship with your students today? What is the relation going on in Parthi? Because when I see the pictures, it is very crazy. So it will
Correct.
be
True.
nice.
True. Yeah, I think, Abhi, it is not just developed over a day. I have joined as a student in 1987. Even before that, I have seen students running to Swami, all that. And we stay in the same hostel. We also know that, students who are studying now, they are staying in the same hostel where you you stayed and you had those happy memories, and you basically, the kind of rapport that we have with our students is unbelievable, right? It's like a family. Inside the classroom we have strict discipline, true, but once you come out of the classroom, right, we are like a family. We go together, right? We mix together. So see, here you can see one of the faculty sitting, and uh, uh, yeah, and students around. Even those other beautiful photos you showed, I remember they will, on a teacher's day, or some such outing day, they all dance with us, and they have tremendous love and also respect. Okay, and they, because I think the main reason is we are all focused on Swami, right? That's the main reason. That's what brings about this relationship. Nobody should, oh, this is my place. In 1995, nice of you to show that photo. That's where I used to sit in the department. And this is, of course, yeah, this is the one. And all around me, all my senior faculty who have taught me, they're sitting around. Of course, the saga continues now also. Nothing has changed. Swami is taking care of us, moving around us. We feel him, we experience him as we used to do that time. Though physical absence is there, one big, absence in life. True, we need to acknowledge that, but then that will not stop us from moving ahead. Almost day-to-day basis today. Even now, when the power goes, my biggest concern is, I need power urgently in the home always, and so immediately he responds. All right,
Raghu, how
this is
was
how you.
2011 for you?
Once again that question.
What happened? How was 2011 with you, and how things changed after that
it,
when
it, it
Bhagwan
was
chose to leave his physical form?
correct. uh, I should say, for a few months after 2011 was like a total blackout in many of our lives, right? uh, it is indescribable agony and grief. Uh, you even find it so difficult to go to mandir, because the place where your beautiful Lord moved around is not going to come, right? That's a kind of a feeling that always pulled you down. But at the same time, I think Swami prepared us for several months, in the sense that Swami would skip darshans at times, and also send us that ominous feeling that, yes, in times to come, physical frame may not be there, but he would be around us, right? His invisible hand is going to, protect us, guard us, and play the role that is, always been playing. That's the kind of preparedness he brought in. Actually, if you see, during that time, 2011, when Swami left us, none of the institutions of Puttaparthi shut down even for a day, right? That is something phenomenal. If you, from a hindsight, in a hindsight, that's what I observed. Whether it is university or super specialty hospitals or schools or hostels, none of them stopped functioning even for a day. Silently, I mean, there was a lot of silence, a lot more silence actually. Nobody would speak to each other, but they perform their duties, okay, in a much more committed way. I remember the day after I went to North Indian canteen. I was the only person sitting in the canteen, in the whole canteen. I took my food, went and sat, looked around, nobody is there. And I just wondered, will there be time again when people will come and then, sit here? And it was only a question of few more months, and then, the flux that is coming to Parthi, and, experiencing Swami is only increasing from time to time. But in my own small thinking, I felt like that day, right? But yes, Abhi, that I need to acknowledge that it was not easy for us, okay? But I think the commitment to duty and what Swami told us to continue to do, that's what got us out of that. That's very important. You need to focus. Swami said, you do your work, offer that to me. I think that is the true karma yoga, right? So made
I
all
think
of us karma
Bhagwan
yoga.
really made it. He led by example that way.
Exactly.
He never stopped work for anything, and
Yes,
he also saw to it that with his absence, physical absence,
true,
things continue. It is not easy. It is only a divine will that can happen.
true,
But
true.
Raghu, after post 2011, has there been an experience of Bhagwan in students? Have you observed anything around you that students have, the new students who are typically, who have not seen Bhagwan that way, how is their experience with Bhagwan?
Yes, there are umpteen number of experiences actually. Students, you know, in our own, what to say, not so matured way, which to think that, see, there are students who have not even experienced his physical presence.
Sure, yeah.
How they are going to relate to this place? Will they be able to adjust here in this hostel? Okay, for example, and all our misconceptions were shattered, right? The large number of students who come, and they're much more devoted. They experience Swami comes into their I let me share, because you asked one incident. I remember it was during one of the sports meet time, right, post 2011. And as usual, the sports meet took place and it was a grand success. And after January 14th or 15th, after successfully completing sports meet, we all would gather in the grounds and we'll have a feast. There's been the customary practice in Puttaparthi to we have worked hard for the sports meet. We have put up a nice show. Now let us sit and recall those sweet memories, how we got ready for the. So we'll sit and chat basically one day. And during one such time, we asked the students, do you have any experiences to share? And one student told me this, okay, which actually reinforced my faith and my confidence that yes, Swami is with us all the time. So this boy was in one of the item that I was also part of. Some faculty will be there to monitor the progress, all that. I was one of the faculty, and the student was participating in that program where he has to lift a LED ring, right? And with that LED ring, they will arrange different patterns. And that was the kind of item we're presenting. And this boy was a little depressed one day because the faculty chided him, saying that you are not holding the ring properly. Okay, so for the actual effect to come, you should hold it in a proper way. And so this boy got a little upset, and he was even considering shifting the item. Let me go to some other item, because here I'm not getting much dividend, right? So that's the kind of feeling he was having. And it seems that day night he gets a dream, right? And Swami comes into his dream, and one of our faculty, Dr. Shailesh, he was also there, it seems. He was going around and adjusting, and instructing the students. And Swami also comes to this boy straight and holds the ring and says, see, you just tilt the ring slightly upward like this. Everything will be in place. Just try this, right? It will be a nice item. Like Swami assures him, and then goes. I don't remember that student's name, okay? And he does that, and it's all fine, right? He said, sir, I know. That time onwards, I felt I should give my best because Swami is actually amongst us. Right? Even we didn't feel it, honestly, to tell you. Post 2011, such incidents, so many of them have taken place. This only tells us that, yes, we are nimitta matram bhavasavya sachi, right? Swami tells Arjuna that you just be there, right? War is already done. Enemies are already vanquished. Okay, you just stay there, right? Just be there. What is required is availability, right? Swami says your availability, not your excellence or your skill, nor your scholarship, right? Nothing. Are you available? That's all. If you can make yourself available, rest of the things like scholarship or talent or your skill, whatever, that all will be given to you in a so right, in a minute. God can bless you with all that, right? I think that's how we all have grown. I never thought that I'll be able to join a university and I'll be able to teach in a university. And yes, life has been a saga since then, and it's going on.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
Raghu.
thank you.
We have been continuing there, and I know Swami is Bhagwan is the only guide and inspiration for all of us. So, any message you would like to say before we close? Any thoughts on
No,
Bhagwan? Anything you want to convey to everybody?
no, I don't think I'm entitled to give a message as such, but just the feeling that I would like to convey that finally what is that happened to you, you asked, right? So if I ask that question to myself, I think this is what happens to everybody. Finally we are so immersed in him, we believe in him so much that he is always guiding us and guarding and protecting us. We really don't have anything to really worry about. Okay. And we just look at him and be happy, right? This is the sum and substance of a person's life with Swami, I guess. You look at him and be happy, because a lot of things can happen. You are looking at him but still you are not happy, right? You don't look at him, you are happy. See, this is also not acceptable. And worse is, you are not looking at him, you are also not happy, right? The thing is, your journey starts by looking at him, and you learn to be happy in his presence. Because you understand what are your goals. You separate your desires from goals, you pursue those goals, and finally you understand he is always there to, taking care, and in your progress he is always there. And finally you end up with this. You look at him and you are happy. Sarve bhavantu sukinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. I think that is the, that's kind of our final goal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Raghu. I don't know, I am trying to like consciously curtail it because of the time also, but
Yeah.
I know there is so much more we can receive from you. So if Sai willing, we have another opportunity, I would love to have you back again
Thank
and
you.
maybe
Thank you.
discuss things about Bhagwan further. But I really am grateful to Bhagwan for the opportunity, and to you, brother, for sharing such a beautiful journey of Bhagwan.
Please,
And
please don't say that. We are all journeying together, and yeah, we are
thank you so
brothers.
much.
That's it. Thank you so
I
much.
thank you all the viewers for joining us tonight. And this video will be available on the channel, and you are free to share it as you feel and enjoy the glory of God. Thank you so much. And Sairam, everybody.